I've been doing MMA 20 odd years now. I love grappling. Anyone getting older, grappling should be one of the main exercises they ever take up because it's movement meditation, it's flexibility, it's coordination. It basically encompasses everything. It's one thing that I've noticed, grappling as opposed to MMA is definitely something that can be applied to life. One of the guys, Stephen, who trains here, the first stripe blue belt in jiu-jitsu, so he's a decent enough level, he understands what he's doing. I put him under a lot of pressure. My instructor, Davey Patterson, we've always been grappling for MMA basically, and we were always trying to inflict pain in every movement to distract. And I put him under pressure and I suffocated him and he tapped out. I said to him, I was like, what the fuck are you tapping out for? He said, I just didn't like it, I was grappling. I said, you don't tap out because you're like claustrophobia. That's a moment for you to actually expand your ability. And it's the same as life. There's going to be times in life where you are going to feel you're claustrophobic and the world is just closing in on you and it becomes overwhelming. He became overwhelmed by the situation and he couldn't see a way out. It was panic stations. He allowed the situation, the place he was in, to completely overwhelm him and shut him down, and he had to get out, so he tapped and he quit. And he quit on himself there, when the reality was, had he been able to sit with a bit of uncomfortableness and realise, I'm not going to die, this is just something I'm not very comfortable with, and if I sit with it more, it'll soon become my new normal. Focus on one more breath, and this is a metaphor for life. Just like in grappling, you can become overwhelmed with what's happening in your life. What the world, universe is throwing at you. You can have all these thoughts and fears of what's going to happen, what could happen, and it's going to be overwhelming and you're just going to tap out and you're never going to achieve what you wanted to achieve. Or you can focus on one more breath. And that's been my mantra for jiu-jitsu. When I'm grappling, if I'm in a bad situation and someone's overwhelming me and it's like I'm in trouble, he's going to submit me here if I don't do something, I don't focus on the fact that this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. I focus on, I'm in an uncomfortable position, get myself into a position where I can get one more breath. That's it. And if I can get myself one breath, that's going to give me between 20 and 30 seconds of breathing space where I can now focus on what I need to do. When you consider this in life, it is the perfect metaphor for how to get through the tough times. When life is throwing shit at you and you're overwhelmed, you don't need to focus on the cure, you don't need to focus on the answer. You just need to focus on taking a breath, on being able to get yourself into a position where you can just have one breath and breathe that life back into you and give yourself the chance to focus on something else. If you stay in that position stagnant and not moving, you're going to find yourself overwhelmed and beat. But if I can just shift my hips 1 inch, if I can get my shoulder onto the floor, if I can bridge up and create a gap to get my foot in or knee in or an elbow in and allow myself that room to get that one deep breath, that gives me 30 seconds to fight back and fight again and get a better position and see things from a different perspective. And that's what life's about. Life is about when you feel overwhelmed, not allowing the overwhelm to completely paralyze you, and instead just use it to focus on the next move, the next thing you need to do, the one more breath. And getting that one breath is going to give you enough oxygen to get clarity. That position of clarity, you can see different aspects of the position. What was maybe a problem isn't actually a problem anymore out of the overwhelm, because when you're swamped and you can't breathe, it's a terrifying experience. And then I started thinking about my journey of self-improvement. Everything I've always done, I've always got to a point where I feel completely overwhelmed, to the point where this gym nearly cost me my life. I nearly killed myself over the fucking pressure for myself on this. But luckily I had people around me that I was able to get just a one breath. And because I was able to get that one breath, it gave me enough time to start creating a different reality and considering things from a different perspective. And that allowed me the freedom to see that the real problems that I thought was a problem weren't actually a problem. It was me and how I was thinking about the problem. Once I was able to step back, get that breath, I was able to see it for what it was. It was just something that I need to address. I need to do things differently. And that's grappling. When you're in a bad position and people are overwhelming, you can't breathe, get yourself to a position where you breathe. If you're on top and I can't breathe and I just snake, bump and get this side, now the whole world's opened up to different perspective. And it's the exact same with your life. No matter where you are, if you can just shift position, if you can just get yourself one more breath, you're going to see things from a different perspective. That different perspective is going to allow you to come up with different answers, which will allow you to push yourself forward and overcome the obstacle. And that's what life is. And the word grappling is perfect, because That's what we're doing every day in life. Every day in life, all we do is grapple. We grapple with our inner thoughts, we grapple with society, we grapple with the rules, we grapple with our inbuilt thoughts and processes that are holding us to where we currently are. The only way we can overcome these things is by shifting position and taking a breath and seeing a different perspective. Just focus on one more breath. You've got to be able to shift position, you've got to be able to move and flow, and grappling's about finding the path of least resistance. Grappling, it's not about strength, it's about using your opponent's energy against them and be able to get yourself in a position where you see something automatically 6-7 moves ahead. When you're with an experienced grappler, it's a game of chess. You're trying to set up different paths and you know that you've got one primary submission you're trying to go for. But if that primary submission is going to take 6 moves to get to, every one of those 6 moves, you're going to have like a branch off of maybe 4 or 5 different alternatives. Every move you do, there's going to be a counter by your opponent. And every move you do in life, there's going to be a counter by life to challenge you more. And you've got to be able to adapt, and you've got to be able to see the different paths that are possible, and then choose the best path determined by the situation you're put into. Grappling is a metaphor for life. Grappling it's life in a 5-minute rule. Everything that you should do to progress yourself in life is contained in a 5-minute rule. If you get the submission and you've done something right, you're going to focus on what did I do right there? That was brilliant. Okay, I'm going to hone that skill. I'm going to make sure that I get better. That becomes my go-to movement. I've got a couple of other moves that I go to, a couple of guard passes that are my go-to guard passes, but I've also got to have a backup plan for when they don't work. And the same with life, you've got to have a backup plan for when the things you've always done in life don't go the way you want to. When life throws that curveball, or your opponent knows what submission you're going for or what guard pass you're going for, you've got to be able to have a counter for that. And then if you get beat in grappling, it's not that your opponent beat you, it's that you didn't know something or you done something wrong. And then you've got to go back and analyse, where did I go wrong? Where I get submitted with a rear naked choke, right, I made a mistake. If I grapple again and the same guy catches me in the same submission, I've done something wrong. So it's now up to me to ask, and in life it's up to you to ask, what have I done wrong? And you either figure it out yourself or you ask someone who's more experienced. Everything you do in life, in grappling, in a 5-minute rule, 10-minute rule, is a micro metaphor for your entire existence. And if you can apply the principles of grappling and how to become a better grappler to how to become a better person, it's a very similar process. Because you are grappling with life and you're grappling with an opponent, and your opponent's your obstacle at that moment in time, and whatever you're going through in life is the obstacle you must overcome. And if you don't overcome it, you're going to have to go through it again. And you can't hide away from it, or you're never going to grow, never going to learn from it.